Making a sequel to a masterpiece. It's always hard to live up to it, but so easy to mess it up. And despite all the backlash, I actually didn't think The Last of Us Part 2 was a bad game. It had its flaws and its good parts. I just want to analyze the story from a storytelling point. So let's talk The Last of Us Part 2. The first title struck me out of nowhere, being exactly up my alley and making it my favorite story-driven game of all time. Obviously, spoilers ahead for Part 1 and 2, so let's recap what made Part 1 such a masterpiece, in my opinion. For me, it was the first game that showed me that a game can have a cinematic story that's even better than some movies. I played a lot of story-driven games before, but never had me a story so hooked. It was a balance between incredibly dark and astonishing beautiful moments, making it a roller coaster of emotions. This is still happening in The Last of Us Part 2, though this sad balance is gone. It's much darker, grittier, and full of painful moments. So first I want to talk about the message to understand what they try to achieve. The message to me is there is no good and evil, it's just different perspectives. And revenge is never what it appears to be. We have one perspective which makes us hate the other, then we see the other perspective is yet at war with another perspective, and then we see their perspective. It's all gray at the end and there's always two sides of the coin. That being said, I hated Abby, I still hate Abby, nothing changed for me, and I just don't care.
You don't know me. I haven't always done the right thing.
You're a piece of shit, Abby.
Sorry, I had to get that out of the way before I can state my issues in a civilized manner. So now I want to talk about the issues that I have with the game. Killing Joel in the beginning and then make us play his killer for 10 hours was a bad choice. We haven't even had time to play or talk to him at all, and for some of us it's been 7 years, so you barely remember how he was at all. If they would have wrote it in a different order maybe, for example, playing Abby first and then her killing Joel, or not killing Joel at all. Sorry, I digress. The whole game to me was just suffering, which is never a good thing, especially in a game. The balance of light and darkness from the first one was gone for the most part, and even the flashbacks just felt sad to me, having all the bad things in mind that are gonna happen in the future. The problem here is that it's a video game and it's supposed to be fun. It's interactive, so it's much different than a movie. Watching a movie, you can yell at the screen, but in the end you're just observing. In a video game, you have to be that person. It's taking a much greater toll on the audience, which is the reason why people are so upset. It's a big difference if someone shoots someone you love or is making you shoot them. Another point would be making a time jump and change the characters. What has never really been possible to me is to properly make a time jump and showing the results afterwards. A lot of people say that Joel acted out of character when he let his guard down in front of Abby and her friends. Well, he's been living in safety for 4 years now. He just saved her life. It could absolutely be possible, but the audience has just been shown the result, not the path leading up to it. The flashbacks are not enough. It's like someone has been traveling the world for 4 years and then showing you 3 photos. You still don't know what it was like. Last point would be pushing the agenda. I personally would love to see more characters of different minorities and really celebrated the reveal of Ellie being gay in The Last of Us DLC Left Behind. You loved her and then she turned out being gay. Nothing changed. The problem with the second part is that they're shoving it in your face a little much.
I think I'm pregnant.
Not too much. I just want to have a good story with diverse characters. Just feels like sometimes they show it just to show it, not to serve the story.
Is that weed?
Now I want to state what I liked about the game. In general, the storytelling itself was flawless, slow-paced, symbolism, facial expressions, so well done, again. The graphics are phenomenal. I also enjoyed the gameplay a lot, never felt repetitive, and even though I knew it was coming sometimes, the jump scares always got me. The museum flashback actually tied first place to me, with the giraffe scene from part 1. Actually, let's analyze this particular scene to compare it to the rest of the game. We play Ellie 4 years before Joel's death on her birthday, and Joel appears. We feel nostalgia, and right from the start we are looking forward to what's coming. They joke around, and Ellie still has her innocence, which made a lot of the first part great. The contrast between innocence and being a kid in this dark, cruel environment.
I got you back. You're angry and upset.
I'm very angry and upset.
We find joy in the little things, like Ellie jumping off a T-Rex yelling, "I'm on a motherfucking dinosaur!" or her finding a cowboy hat and Joel making references to Jurassic Park.
Oh, hello. Sorry, the dinosaurs are busy right now.
Then we proceed to the planetarium, and remembering that Ellie loves space, we are up to the truest father-daughter moment that Joel and Ellie ever had. This shot in particular, with the lights changing while she's picturing landing on the moon, is transcending us to what could have been. The light feels much brighter, being surrounded by darkness, so the next scene we get pulled back into this dystopia of inhumanity.
Welcome to Earth.
Not only zombies, but when you're playing, take a moment and take a look at the writings on the walls. They're pulling us back into this world one by one until the climax of the scene appears with the Firefly logo with the word liars underneath. This is a perfect example of how contrast was a big theme of the first part but failed at the second. Contrast of the light parts is what helped us through these dark ones, but now there's literally nothing to play for anymore. It can just get worse from here on, was the feeling that I had the whole time. So, in comparison, I thought it was a really good game. Not comparing to the first part, of course, but still better than most games out there. I mean, people tend to forget that bad pizza is still pizza, you know? I hope they turn around on the third part and concentrate more on the cure. I would rate this game a solid 7 out of 10, probably. The first part being a 10 out of 10, of course. And yeah, if you agree, if you disagree, let me know. Let's have a civilized conversation about this in the comments. If you're new to the channel, this is a storytelling filmmaking channel. I just thought that there are plenty of video games out there that deserve to be analyzed from a storytelling point as well. And yeah, my name is Nick Shannon. Over and out.